Hey guys, God bless. I just had an amazing revelation. Um, so, if you look at my past videos, you'll see that I think that there's two women in Revelation 12, and that goes with the verbiage that's in there. And you got to look at it and watch the video or read it yourself real close. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you. But as I've been seeing two churches, two harvests, and um, you have grace and mercy, you have the law. Some people say we're in tribulation now, some say we're not. You have the martyrdom going on overseas, some say that's not it. You have all these things going on. Some people think if we're in tribulation now, then who's Obama? Is he the Antichrist? All these different things. So, but what the Lord has shown me, and it's just been confirmed, is there are two churches. There's going to be two catching aways. And if you look at Revelation 14:4, that's the select group of 144 being taken. And if you read a little further, I don't have my Bible in front of me. Well, I do, but I want to make this real quick. So if you read a little further, I don't want to lie to you. If you read a little further, then you have the great harvest, the multitude no man can number. And as I'm reading this, and everything's just been going through my mind about this the last two videos and cancer and all these things. So I got to looking at cancer and some of the things that Bollinger says in this book, and it hit me. It just straight up hit me. It was amazing. So check this out. So this is the Pleiades, and this is where I believe heaven is located. The seven stars that Jesus holds in his right hand, the seven churches, the seven golden candlesticks. Can you bind the sweet influence of the Pleiades, the land of milk and honey? Milk being the Milky Way, honey being the sweet influence. I've said this a lot of times. It's been confirmed through different things, through the Groks and other videos, that this, I believe, is where heaven's located. Well, if you look at this, it's a little dipper, okay? It's a little dipper. It's a little cup. And so I got to looking at cancer, and you can go to my Stargate, which talks about going over the horns of the bull to get into the Pleiades and going through the red, which is the red star, Aldebaran, which is significant of the Red Sea parting, the parting of the horns. So I mean, there's several videos that I have that you can look at. But anyways, I was looking at cancer. Um, let's go there real quick. We're gonna go to cancer. Bear with me. So you go to cancer, and I was looking at cancer, and a couple things struck out at me. First off, if you turn off the artwork here, you have the lines of it, which don't really look like a crab at all. But I thought it was kind of neat. It looks a lot like the thing from Back to the Future, the flux capacitor. It's upside down, the flux capacitor. So just some time things, some things that jumped out at me, nothing major. Well, I started looking at this beehive, uh, Paracepi, I believe is what it is, and it's a small cluster of stars right in the center of the crab. And an acronym, and I'm going to put out a better video. I just want to give you a heads up. This is called M44. A lot of us are seeing 44 and all these other things. Well, this cluster of stars, um, I started looking at the only thing about the beehive in the Bible is with Samson. So then I got led to Samson, and I've been reading about Samson, and there's a lot of stuff. I believe it's an allegory for Christ. The lion being Satan that he killed. He was looking for a woman. It happened to be a Gentile woman. Um, he ended up, and the bees end up making a nest inside the carcass of that lion. And he takes some of the honey from it, and he eats it. And I started just looking at all this. I'm like, what is the Lord trying to say with this story? And as I'm reading it, certain things are popping out at me, but I can't put everything quite together just yet. Um, it talks about, I'm gonna go there real quick, folks. Just the he's looking for this bride. I researched all the names of Samson, which means Samson means son of man or son, man of son, which I think is a reference to Christ. And then it goes on. He's going through the vineyard, and the lion attacks him, so he rents the lion, leaving the carcass there. And then he comes back a few days later, and there's a nest of bees in it, which I think could be us on Earth. We are the nest of bees in the carcass of Satan. Satan's a defeated foe, right? So I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm just kind of putting things together, and I decided to continue Ethelbert Bollinger's book. And he says some things, and hopefully I'll get a video out before we go home. But if not, oh well, I'll finish the study later in heaven, hopefully. But anyway, um, he comes to there's deacons. Now, Cancer is the primary constellation that's on the ecliptic. And he starts to look at the deacons, and he says, there's nothing about a bear, and that you'll see here in a second. Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the big bear and little bear, are part of the deacons of Cancer. And he's like, there's nothing, he's like, I found nothing sufficient to point to the fact that no bear is found in any Chaldean, Egyptian, Persian, Indian. No bear was ever seen with such a tail. And he's talking about Ursa Minor, that would ever have a bear call attention to a tail, or a bear ever had placing the very tip of the most important wondrous star, which is the Polaris star. So he goes on, and he says, he goes, the primitive truth that there were two or a pair of constellations is preserved, and that these two, one is larger and one is smaller. But what are they? He asks himself this question in the book. What are they? And I think what the Lord is showing him, or what the Lord led me to believe, is that those are the churches, the big church and the little church. So let's take a look. So you have, and what is it shaped like? A little dipper. You have Ursa Minor, the little bear, and you have right here Ursa Major. Okay? Now, when you go back, and they're both shaped as dippers, all right, you have the North Star, which, like I said, I haven't done a lot of homework yet. I just got excited, but I wonder if this points to the Pleiades. I don't know. Something to think about. But you have the little church and the big church. And he goes on, these are actually, in Hebrew, he's talking about the star names, which you got to go through these star names, and that's where you start to get the picture of what he's really talking about. And one means lesser sheepfold and greater sheepfold. So, and then get this, going back to Cancer, let me scroll up. I'm just all over the place here. Let's see. This connects with the tribe of Israel. He's talking about. Okay, yeah. There's a north and south star. We talked about the beehive, right? Right here, we talked about the beehive. Well, when you get in here into the beehive, there's a north and a south star. North and south of the nebula Persepe are two stars which Orientalists speak of, named evidently in some antiquity, one being called the large ass, and the one is the northern ass and southern ass. And he goes, this connects it to the tribe of Ishar, which is said to have been born upon the tribal standard of the sign of two asses. This is doubtless in reference to Jacob's blessing. So then you go back down. I hope you guys are not like freaking out. You go down here, and it talks about Cancer being crouched down between the two flocks. Anyway, that's what I got right now, but it just confirms for me. I'm trying to find this stupid thing. I can't find it. It confirms for me when I saw that, and they're both dippers, that makes so much sense. That there's a greater church and the lesser church. So, like I said, I'm still working on this. I had to take a break from it for a day or two because I couldn't. I was at a standstill. I couldn't figure anything out. But then when I saw him in his own book say, "What does this mean? Why are there, how could they have been two, but they don't?" He's like, he couldn't make the connection. But what were they? That's what it says. What were they? We have a clue to the answer when we start to look. And he says we have a clue to the answer when we start to look at the stars. This, of course, for which have already been seen under Cancer, crouching down between the sheepfolds. He saw a resting place, and that it was good. Here are the 2 feet sheepfolds, greater fold and lesser fold. So he didn't know what he was looking at. Here we are today. God has given us this wisdom and insight to see. We start putting things together. Now, I haven't put all this back to Samson yet, but like I said, I'm still working on this. But I came across that, and I was like, oh, this has got to go out, because it confirms everything I've been thinking in my spirit. So anyway, it makes me real happy. So um, God bless you guys, and wow, just wow. Um, isn't our God wonderful to just the painstaking things He went through to redeem us? Um, so I hope you see the glory in this, guys. But wow, I'm just amazed myself. I can't wait to finish now. That um, it's kind of the clouds have lifted, so to speak. Anyway, God bless you. Take care.